This presentation is about Impressionism. It will be presented by Galvan, Manyalak, Mercado, and Pamintuan. Starting off, Impressionism is a major movement and it was developed chiefly in France during the late 19th and early 20th centuries. It is based on the practice of painting out of doors and spontaneously on the spot rather than in a studio from sketches. It was said that the most striking or conspicuous characteristic of Impressionism was an attempt to portray visual reality in terms of transient effects of lights and colors. It was also said that this movement is a rebellion towards the past art movements, which mainly portrays classical and religious artworks, because Impressionism mainly portrays modernized arts and real life sketches.
Edouard Monet, born on January 23, 1832, in Paris, France, and he was a French modernist painter. He was one of the pivotal figures in the transition from realism to impressionism. He is also known for many controversial paintings, which mostly consist of nude people. One of his controversial paintings is The Luncheon on the Grass. It consists of two naked women and clothed men. Rejected in Paris Salon, this painting was then displayed in Salon of the Rejected, which also kick-started the Impressionist movement, and their message is to embrace the modernity than staying on classical art and paintings, which mostly consists of Roman gods and goddesses. Next is one of our own, Juan Luna, a Filipino painter, sculptor, and a political activist. He is well known for his artwork of spoliarium. One of his impressionist paintings is Tampuhan, which means sulking in English. Depicts a normal Filipino couple that are quarreling with each other. The setting of the scene is in a living room where the two people are experiencing tampo because of an argument. The man is looking out on the street while the woman, on the other hand, is focusing her eyes on the floor of the room. Pierre Auguste Renoir, the French artist who was leading in the Impressionist style of painting. He is also well known for his feminine sensuality. His painting, The Dance at Le Moulin de la Galette, is considered as the most beautiful painting of the 19th century, which depicts a typical Sunday afternoon in the district of Montmartre in Paris.
Edgar Degas. Back in the day, he was called the painter of dancers. Born on July 19, 1834, born from Paris, France. Studied in École des Beaux Arts. A painter and sculptor, Edgar Degas was a highly celebrated 19th century French impressionist, whose work helped shape the fine art landscape for years to come. He became renowned as a stellar portraitist, fusing impressionistic sensibilities with traditional approaches. Both a painter and sculptor, Degas enjoyed capturing female dancers and played with unusual angles and ideas around centering. His work influenced several major modern artists, including Pablo Picasso. Two of his most famous paintings are The Dance Class and The Absinthe Drinker.
Paul Cézanne. He was born on January 19, 1839, and he died on October 22, 1906. Paul Cézanne was an artist and post-impressionist painter whose work laid the foundations of the transitions from the 19th century conception of artistic endeavor to a new and radically different world of art in the 20th century. Cézanne said to have formed bridge between the late 19th century Impressionism and the early 20th century new line of artistic inquiry, Cubism. Cézanne's often repetitive exploratory brushstrokes are highly characteristic and clearly recognizable. He used planes of color and small brushstrokes. The that build up to form complex fields the paintings convey. Cézanne's intense study of his subject. Both Matisse and Picasso are said to have remarked that Cézanne is the father of us all.
Camille Pissarro, born on July 10, 1830, born from Paris, France. Studied in Académie Suisse, Nicolas des Beaux Arts. Was a French landscape artist best known for his influence on Impressionist and Post-Impressionist paintings. Relocating to Paris as a young man, Pissarro began experimenting with art, eventually helping to shape the Impressionist movement with his friends, including Claude Monet and Edgar Degas. Pissarro was also active in post-impressionist circles, continuing to paint until his death in Paris on November 13, 1903. Two of his most famous paintings are Paysage tropical can Casas Rulas Palmeras and Joyous Hill Pontoise. Honoré Daumier, born on February 20, 1808. Born from Valmondios, France. French caricaturist, painter, and sculptor, especially renowned for his cartoons and drawings, satirizing 19th century French politics and society. His paintings, though hardly known during his lifetime, helped introduce techniques of Impressionism into modern art. Daumier received a typical lower middle class education, but he wanted to draw. His studies did not interest him. His family therefore placed him with an old very well-known artist, Alexandre Lenoir. Lenoir, a student and friend of Jacques Lois David, a leading classicist painter, was more an artisan than a painter. He had pronounced the taste for Peter Paul Rubens, one of those works he kept in his collection. A connoisseur of sculpture, he had saved most beautiful medieval and contemporary sculptures from revolutionaries, which inspired a lasting interest in Daumier. Daumier was then not all uncultured, self-taught genius that most of art historians of the late 19th and early 20th centuries depicted. He did not rise from artistic void. He was the child of artists. However modest and successful they have been in making a name, added to advantage of this ancestry, he also benefited from a more intersecting artistic education than his contemporaries. At the age of 13, his father's breakdown forced Daumier to seek paying work. He first became a messenger boy for Bailiff, and from this experience acquired the familiarity with the world of the low courts. He worked next as a bookseller's clerk at the Palais Royal. The Palais Royal, with its arcades surrounding the garden, was one of the busiest spots in Paris, and there Daumier saw, parading before his employer's window, all the characters of Comédie Humaine, about whom he would later talk about his friends Honoré de Balzac. Not only men of fashion, intellectuals, and artists, but also captains of industry, or windlers, as they were commonly called. All of them led themselves to calculate. Two of his most famous paintings are The Third Class Carriage and The Laundress. Thank you for watching our presentation. God bless you all.